Koby was killed with Yosef Ishran. Yosef was 14. They were two friends. They just went hiking in the wadi, and they were met by terrorists who beat them to death with rocks.
May 8th, 2001, Tekoa, Gush Etzion, Israel. Two 13-year-old boys, Koby Mandell and Yosef Ishran, go for a hike in the wadi half a mile from their homes. The canyon in the Judean desert features a series of caves. The dead bodies of Koby and Yosef are found in one of these caves. 5 Arabs had trapped them there and beat them to death with rocks. The boys were identifiable only by their dental records.
The first year, I cried every day. I felt like my life was over. I really felt like even my birthday, I was happy that I was a year closer to dying, because I felt like I can't live like this. This is just too horrible. And then eventually life comes back. Life is very strong, the life force. And when you suffer traumatic grief, there's also such a thing as post-traumatic growth. And if you can reach that growth, then sometimes you're just too busy to be in pain because you have too much life going on. Right after Koby was killed, when we were going to the cemetery, and I picked out my hat, and I thought to myself, you are disgusting that you care what color hat you're going to wear. But that minute I knew you're going to be okay. You know, I wasn't a person of great faith when my son was killed. I became religious, and I became religious because my husband was religious, and I liked the lifestyle. You know, I liked Shabbat, and I liked being part of a community, but I really did not feel God. And after Koby was killed, I felt, I mean, this sounds sort of crazy, but I felt like God was communicating with me. You look for God. You look for God in your pain. And it's also like I was much more of a shallow person beforehand. I was just much, it was very easy for me to just like, you know, go to the beach and read a novel and just relax. And after Koby's death, I couldn't. I had to do something greater and more purposeful because I felt like I had to make my life count, but I had to make his life count. And I feel like he keeps pushing us on to do more and more and to keep going.
The year Koby was murdered, Seth and Sherri Mandel established the Koby Mandell Foundation. Through various programs, such as Camp Koby, Teen Camp in Israel, Mother's Healing Retreat, Mishnah Marathon, the foundation runs therapeutic programs for children and adults who have lost a family member to terrorism. To date, more than 2,000 people have participated in the programs.
First of all, Jews are very rarely consumed by hate. I mean, I don't think Jews are a hateful people. I know, I wasn't brought up religious, but my mother always told me the best vengeance is a good life. And Jews are just trained to look at the blessing. It's just, it says, like, I put before you a blessing and a curse, choose life. L'chaim, like, we are a life-based religion. So there are, exceptions, but most Jews just move toward life. It was the beginning of the Intifada. So every day there were terrorist attacks. And I would go to shivas, and I would just be there for other people. And I felt like I had a presence that I could make myself available for other people, and that in that way there was some kind of purpose to my pain, that it wasn't for nothing, that I could just be there to give to other people who were going through the pain that I was still experiencing. I think the wisdom of a broken heart is that you know that life is short, and you know that life is limited. I feel like after Koby was killed, before that I had this feeling that life was unlimited, and that there was such a grandeur to life. I mean, I still feel there is, But after Koby was killed, I felt its limits, and I felt my limits, and that death was real, and that death was there for everybody. I mean, we all live as if we're not going to die because that's the only way we can. But when you're faced with the death of a child, part of you has died. So I never have that total comfort in this world because I'm connected to the world to come. And so that connection to the world to come gives me a different truth in this world because I'm not fully in this world. We learn that in Gan Eden Lamala, in the Garden of Eden, like the highest, deepest place in like the spiritual world, it says that there's a bird's nest. And then it says, in that bird's nest, the Messiah waits to redeem the world. And he flies in and out of the nest, waiting to see if the world is ready. And in that bird's nest are pictures of all the children that died Kiddush Hashem. Pictures of all the children that died sanctifying God's name. So after I learned that, I felt that Koby's death was part of Jewish history. And it was part of this transcendent reality that I couldn't really understand, but that we were now part of a bigger story.
Thanks for watching. Click subscribe and hit the notification bell below for daily pearls of Jewish wisdom.